Hi, I'm Cindy Bertram. Thanks for joining me today on Good Ship Happens. We've got a lot of exciting news that have come up just in the past week. And of course, I'll be talking more about new ships coming out, a lot of new ones coming out in 2024, which is great, but also some new ones that are going to be christened this year too, which is great. One coming up, of course, is going to be taking place on December 1st, and that is Celebrity Cruises. Their Celebrity Ascent ship is coming out, and she's going to be christened on December 1st by two co-godmothers. And also, that is the cruise line, Celebrity Cruises with Celebrity Ascent. They actually have the two co-captains that are brothers, which is great. So that's fantastic news. Another ship's going to be actually christened named is with Norwegian Cruise Line. That's coming up on November 28th. And they actually have a godfather christening the ship. Yes. And their godfather is, can't remember his name right now. I'll look it up later on. But also it's the Norwegian Viva, which is great. She's going to be christened on November 28th in Miami, but then she's going to actually be sailing down to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and sailing out of San Juan, Puerto Rico the rest of this year and also till spring of 2024. That's great news too. And also another ship coming out is going to be the Carnival Cruise Line, and they're introducing their Carnival Jubilee. And what they're doing is she's going to be actually sailing out of Galveston, I believe in December. I think December 23rd is when she's going to be named. But she's launching, and what came up too just today was actually that with Carnival Jubilee, she's going to have an upgraded version of SpaceX Starlink satellite, and that's actually with the internet, okay? And that's really, really good as far as what cruise lines do, because once again, when cruise lines, they do have internet service on board their ships. Years ago, it was very, very slow. Sometimes it's better to get off the ship and use the internet at maybe a restaurant, maybe a different coffee place, whatever. But with cruise lines now, they really ramped up into high-speed internet, which is great because once again, we do depend on that. Okay, we really do, because we have to keep connected with people too. But once again, I know as far as Wi-Fi offerings, cruise lines are really jumping up with the fast speed internet speeds. And Starlink is a big company that has been working with different cruise lines. And I know that with Carnival, they just mentioned that they rolled out fleet-wide enhancements with their Wi-Fi offerings. And also, they just upgraded things on their 25 different ships, which is great. And once again, it does really, I think, fill a need too. So once again, the Carnival Jubilee is going to actually debut in Galveston, Texas, yes, on December 23rd. And she's going to be sailing on week-long Western Caribbean itineraries that visit popular destinations, including, for instance, Cozumel, Costa Maya, Mexico, as well as Roatan, which is great. And so definitely keep that in mind too. And Roatan, by the way, is in Honduras, but it's Mahogany Bay and Roatan. So once again, new ships coming out very, very shortly, which is great. And we have a lot of new ships coming out in 2024. So maybe let me share more about the new cruise line ships coming out in 2024, okay? Because it is really exciting. We're seeing cruising coming back like crazy in a very, very positive way. One example, of course, as mentioned, was the Carnival Jubilee, which is going to be christened and coming out on December 23rd in Galveston, sailing year-round. Also, I've mentioned this before, is with Icon of the Seas. That is Royal Caribbean's newest ship coming out in January of 2024. And as mentioned before, this is the biggest cruise ship ever built. Or they've got a new ship coming out too later on in the summertime, and Utopia of the Seas is not quite as big as Icon of the Seas, of course, but Utopia of the Seas is going to be debuting in July of 2024 too, which is great. So with Royal Caribbean, they've got two new ships coming out. Also, Princess Cruises, which I'll be writing about later, is got their Sun Princess. The Sun Princess is going to be actually debuting in February of 2024, and she's going to be having 29 different dining venues. And their main restaurant is actually Triple Decks, which is great, 3 levels, which is fantastic. Also specialty restaurants. One is called Kai Sushi, and the other one is called Umai Teppanyaki. Also, the dome deck, which is a forward part of their ship, actually has an indoor-outdoor pool, and they also have evening shows too. And then with another ship coming out is Cunard Line, and they've got their Queen Anne coming out. Excuse me. The Queen Anne is actually their first new ship in over a decade. And she's going to have some favorites on board the ship. And some existing ones too, which is great. For instance, they've got new on board is the Bright Line Society Cabaret. Also, we've got the Ocean's Grill Grand Suites, and those are actually the largest accommodations on board. And also, they've got some expanded areas too, which is great. But it's Cunard Line's first new ship in over 10 years. They're adding new things too. So I'll be sharing more about that in a little bit too, which is great. Yes.
It sounds like you might need to go get some water, but I was going
to. Let me do that real quick. Yes, that'd be great.
Yeah, I was going to say that real quickly. I did see something that you might be interested in while you get that water, which is that for those folks that like Taylor Swift, apparently the Swifties can take their love of Taylor Swift to the high seas. So a cruise.
Yes, I saw that.
Yes.
Yes. That's great.
Yep. It looks like Royal Caribbean's liner Allure of the Seas will be definitely giving honor to Taylor, and it's going to the Port of Miami the day after Swift's last Eras tour, which is a stop in the city on October 20th, 2024. So they're going to, and they say it's not endorsed by her or affiliated with her, but it's hosted by travel agents Jessica Mallerman, Nicole Rivera, and Shelby Reyes. So definitely it says, join us as we celebrate all things Taylor, make new friends, dress up in our favorite era, trade friendship bracelets, and enjoy this amazing ship has to offer. That's what the webpage for the cruise reads. So looks like folks can definitely get out there on the Swift themed events, which are set to take place every night of the voyage, including a welcome cocktail party, a friendship bracelet swapping session, and a themed dance party and karaoke night. So definitely that's something that'll be going on in October that folks that are into Taylor can check out. So it'll be departing on Miami on October 21st, and the cruise will then visit Coco Cay, Royal Caribbean's private island, before stopping at the Bahamian capital, Nassau, and guests will then spend a night at sea on the liner, which has a zip line and a water park before returning to the Port of Miami on day 5. So definitely looks like that could be something for those that, that are fans of hers to check out and everything. So that's another thing. I did see some interesting news, because sometimes you talk about safety, and I know that you got your water, so I'll back off and everything in a minute. But I did see the other thing that was interesting was, I know a lot of people are into various things like cannabis and things along those lines, and I just saw that a woman got a lifetime ban from Carnival cruise ships over her CBD gummies. So apparently she's banned for life because she tried to bring those onto the ship, and they do have rules again what you can and can't bring. So I guess she had to bring the wrong thing.
They're very careful, but they want to be safe too. I mean, security is very, very important. And I think it's better to be safe out there too. So once again, that does make sense. Because the thing is, you got to be safe out there and on board and off the ship too. I mean, and that's very important too. Cruise lines are just very, very secure and safe. And I tell people, even when we had the situations coming out of coronavirus, I told people I felt safer on a ship than anywhere else, because once again, when cruising first started again too, you actually had to have the COVID-19 vaccinations, right? And then 3 days before actually going to be sailing out on that cruise, you had to have a rapid antigen test done first and bring that with you before you boarded the ship. And when we boarded the ship, when I did my cruise last year, we were spaced out, okay, in different sections. And then we had to do the actual check-in itself. What came up too was, usually with cruise lines, you get in different lines and you wait to get to the front of their boarding area. They've got big, long desk areas, right? Well, when I did my cruise last year, they didn't do that. They had people, we were 6 feet apart, of course, had to wear a mask, whatever. They had individual come up and talk to each one of us individually too, before we boarded the ship to check us in. So it was done very, very well. I thought very, very well. I just felt very, very safe. And also, once again, too, is cruise lines have hospitals on board the ships too, with regular doctors. You would not believe. I actually have seen some of the hospital on board the ship too, and I mean they're fantastic. Because they're taking care of their of course employees too. But once again, they're very careful about everything, and security really matters with them too, more than ever. So once again, that's important too.
Yeah, no doubt about that. If you need, I can play a commercial if you want to go get that water and
Yes,
everything.
that'd be great.
So
That'd
I'll
be
play,
great. Thank you.
yeah, I'll play
Okay,
a commercial
great.
and everything. So we'll play one about mental health and let you get your water, and I might play one
Yeah.
around the industry as well. But here's a
Okay.
little quick commercial.
Great.
I just need to be left alone right now, man.
No, Cam. I think the problem is that you've been left alone way too much.
Life's hard. The world is complicated.
Remember, you are not alone.
Love you, girl. I love you too.
Mental health challenges are common, treatable, and often preventable.
It's time to talk about it.
It's time to defy the fear and stigma that has made so many suffer in silence.
Instead, dare to love yourself and others.
Dare to ask for help and support.
I love you guys.
Dare to listen and show up for the people around you.
Join the conversation.
I'm Dr. Sylvia Earle, a marine biologist, oceanographer, explorer, and I'm passionate about the protection of this blue planet. I grew up next to the ocean in the Gulf of Mexico, and I've witnessed how much the ocean has changed and how marine life has been endangered. But I know there is still time to help the ocean, which is why I was drawn to the Aponte family's sustainability mission. Explorer Journeys has a genuine ambition to connect people with the wonders of the sea, its marine life, its communities, spiritually, physically, and intellectually. We share the same values and have the same objectives to deepen people's relationship with the ocean, to explore, protect, and restore. Explorer Journeys calls it the ocean state of mind, a sensibility that will ensure the protection of this precious blue planet. Through my foundation, Mission Blue, we're working on ocean conservation, inspiring hope with champions across the world. Beginning with my extraordinary role as godmother to Explorer One, we will be heralding a meaningful collaboration between myself, Mission Blue, and Explorer Journeys and the MSC Foundation towards preserving and restoring the world's oceans, the blue heart of the planet.
That's great.
Yeah, that's a very powerful commercial. I know you're not a travel agent yourself, but apparently Regent Seven Seas Cruises launched its largest gift card incentive for its North American travel advisors, according to a press release. So from November 13th, which we've already gone past, to December 15th, travel advisors will receive a $1,000 gift card for every newly deposited 2024 booking. In addition, thanks to the cruise line's ongoing partnership with Fabergé, one lucky travel advisor will win a Fabergé pennant worth nearly $10,000.
Yeah, I have worked previously as a travel advisor myself too, and then did some outside sales for another agency, and then she decided to retire end of 2021. But I've been in that role before. But once again, using a travel advisor is very, very important because once again, that's their specialty. I mean, they know what's going on, and once again, it's really a way to really get some help as far as what is the best cruise for you and what's out there and what fits your what you want to go on. I mean, I just had a friend that came back. He actually sailed on the Valiant Lady, which is actually Virgin Voyages. and he wanted to get away. Usually we travel together, but he just wanted to get away because he helps out his brother. But once again, he just got back, and he said it was a really interesting experience. I had a chance to actually be on board the Scarlet Lady back in late September of 2021 when she's actually going to be start sailing from Port Miami. And it was great to be on board the ship, 6-7 hours. But once again, I've written about it. And of course, that's the one where you have to be 18 years or older to sail on their ships, which is great. And he said it was very, very interesting. You know, he really enjoyed just different things too, because once again, it's adults only and different entertainment, different shows. And also the good thing is in his case too, is they didn't have, usually sometimes cruise lines will have main restaurants, you know, but they don't do that. They have different individual restaurants. You just kind of pick and choose where you want to dine.
Oh, yeah. And speaking of restaurants and everything, the other thing that's always interesting, and I'll let you get back to your report and everything, was Holland America's pastry chefs across the fleet will showcase their favorite desserts during Cake Me Away, a new Lido Market dessert celebration. So launching in time for National Cake Day on November 26th, which is next weekend. Cake Me Away presents over 22 5-layer cakes in 16 flavors, according to a press release. So the cruise line's international pastry team also crafted a selection of mini jar cakes to be added to the daily dessert rotation at Sweet Spot in Lido Market. So that's something that is interesting going on as well. So they say their pastry team has some of the most talented chefs in the world, and Cake Me Away allows us to bring flavors from their home countries to our guests, according to Michael Stenderbach, Vice President of Food, Beverage, and Guest Services at Holland American Line. The culinary team is always developing new ideas, and Cake Me Away gives them the opportunity to share their favorite and introduce new original cakes for our guests to enjoy. So the Cake Me Away desserts include, you'll be glad about this if you have certain restrictions. It includes gluten-free, vegan, and no sugar added options. And featured flavors include meal crepe cake with layers of cream and crepes, Heaven and Hell cake with peanut butter frosting, Concord cake, a gluten-free option made from chocolate meringue, almond Rocco cake from homemade almond Rocco, a hard toffee with chopped nuts and chocolate, Sans Rival cake with buttercream meringue and chopped cashews, carrot cake with warm spices, chopped nuts, and cream cheese frosting, cookies and cream cake with crushed chocolate cookies, cream brulee cake with vanilla cake, creamy custard, and the pastry cream. Did it make you hungry?
Yes, it does look great too. And the fun thing is, when I was at Cruise World, it's a national conference, and I actually started attending Cruise World it myself in 2010 when they first started. I presented workshops, yes, at Cruise World 2010 and Cruise World 11. And they do a great job. It's a great way to interact with different people, travel advisors. They have panels. And this one, which is actually just in November 1st to the 3rd, they had different cruise line presidents that were actually interviewed on stage by different people, including Arnie Weisman. But it's great because once again, they share different things too, which is great. Updates on what they're doing as far as the ships, whatever. And then just they have their trade show too, which is great. Once again, the cruise industry coming back very, very positive too, which is great, with new ships and of course new people. And of course, cuisine is just a wonderful experience to have when you're actually sailing on a cruise ship, you know, because once again, it really goes back to what they're doing as far as innovating dining options too, with specialty restaurants, which is fantastic. And a good example is with, I mentioned that with the Queen Anne, they've got different, they're adding some expanding favorite things. They've got their Golden Lion Pub, which is great. As mentioned, it's Cunard Line's first ship in over a decade, which is great too. I'll share more about that's coming out this spring. And also another new ship coming out is going to be the Disney Treasure. Yes, the Disney Treasure is actually arriving in December of 2024. It's the second ship that Disney has in the new ship series, okay? And it's following the Disney Wish. And they've got a really, really kind of adventure theme. And for instance, they've got their Grand Hall, and this is really reminiscent of Aladdin's Agrabah. They've also got Plaza de Coco. And with Plaza de Coco, it's got this culinary journey alongside Miguel and his family and the character is based on Coco, which is great too. So they just announced that too. The Disney Treasures coming out in December of 2024. They also have their Haunted Mansion parlor, yes. And Disney also, what they're doing is they've got the Disney, The Tale of Moana, and this is going to be in their Walt Disney Theater for people to view too, which is great. Also, they've got their found this too interesting, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and that's their themed Periscope pub. Also, they've got their Aqua Mouse water coaster, and it really's got this Curse of the Golden Egg storyline, which is kind of fun too. So definitely keep that in mind if you like Disney, because Disney does a great job with their cruise ships. But once again, the Disney Treasures coming out in December of next year, which is great. Also, we've got coming out too, Explorer Journeys. Their Explorer one just launched earlier this year. Explorer Journeys is actually owned by the MSC Group, and that's their luxury cruise line. And the Explorer 2, which is a sister ship of the Explorer 1, is going to be debuting this summer of 2024, which is really, really great. And another ship coming out is Silversea Cruises. Silversea Cruises just launched their Silver Nova earlier, late August, September. What they're doing is the Silver Nova is going to be sailing over to the U.S. and she's going to be sailing out of Miami over the Christmas holidays. I think also in January she's going to be named. But their sister ship, the Silver Ray, is going to debut in June of 2024. Also, another cruise line you might not be aware of, it's called Ritz-Carlton Yacht Collection. And what they're doing is their second vessel actually debuting fall of 2024. It's called the EMA. The passenger capacity is just 444 guests. And they got 5 restaurants, 6 bars, water sports marina, etc. And also Viking Cruises has a new ship coming out too. It's their 11th Viking ocean ship. Viking has been around for a long time, and they have some ocean cruise ships too, which is great too. So definitely keep that in mind too. But just once again, it's exciting to see all these new ships coming out too. And something else, I talked a bit about the Sun Princess, which is coming out. That's Princess Cruises ship coming out in, I believe, February, March this year. But they did announce earlier in October that they've got a new collaboration as far as the special impromptu bistro. It's called the Butcher's Block by Dario, and the Sun Princess debuts in February of 2024. And it's really goes back to it's featuring a special chef's table. Once again, they're just it's a specialty bistro that's on board the ship, and it's going to be located on Deck 9 of the Sun Princess. And it's really a fun twist because it's like a specialty impromptu experience, and serving up different specialty dining experiences. For instance, with prepared beef and steak. And then Giacchini's signature cuts too, which is fantastic too. So once again, it just is a good way to really think about it too. Something else is of course, with these special restaurants. Sabatini's Italian Trattoria. It's a princess favorite that serves up fresh-made Italian pastas. Also, unique courses. They've got Ume Teppanyaki, which is another Sun Princess exclusive. It offers Teppan cuisine, and they've got the Catch by Rudy. And this is from renowned chef Rudy Sodeman. Also with Chef Rudy Sodeman, he's actually been working with Honebecker Line for a long time as far as their chief culinary officer. I know him. He's a great person. I just saw him at Cruise World too, which is great. But with Carnival Cruise Line, because the corporation owns Princess Cruises, but he has his special restaurants, of course, on different ships, including the Catch by Rudy, which is great. And I'll tell you what, I've eaten his cuisine. It's fantastic. And as far as the presentation, I tell people his cuisine is almost too gorgeous to eat, but it's fantastic. And it's good because, like I said, we've got throughout the Sun Princess, they've got 29 new and of course, signature dining and lounge experiences too. Also new on the horizon, I think I mentioned this is their 3-level main dining room. And it really kind of elevates their dining experience in new ways too. So once again, it's just great because once again, the Sun Princess comes out in February of this next year. So definitely keep it in mind because once again, with
Hey,
the
Cindy, I've got to teach you about something and everything. If they are going on a cruise, because apparently another press release that I saw is that Fred Nelson announced two new cruises along the Dalmatian coast and the Italian Riviera, part of the cruise line's 2025 program. So in June, the Borealis will take guests on a journey along the Dalmatian coast, including the
oh,
Bay of Qatar in Montenegro and the
okay,
Makarska Riviera in Croatia. Other ports of call will include Split and Dubrovnik. And in September, the Paulette will be visiting Cinque Terre, Corsica's Bonifacio, and Portofino. And both of these sailings have handcrafted itineraries to allow our guests to really immerse themselves in the culture and history of the destinations they are visiting, according to Martin Lister, the head of the itinerary planning and destination experience at Fred Olsen. But my question for you, and yes, I am being partially funny and partially sarcastic just because it's a fun thing to do sometime on this show, is if it's a Dalmatian cruise, do they bring the Dalmatian dogs?
I don't think so. Okay, the point is, I mean, we talked about that previously too, because once again, Cunard Line is the only cruise line, and they just have it on one of their ships that actually has a special place. You have to pay for your dog to get aboard the ship. It's a private area, but it's like taking your dog on a trip too. You have to pay for that, but it's a private area just for dogs. And I can't remember what they call it. I've talked about it previously, but that's the only cruise line that has it just on one of their ships.
No, you definitely just brought that up before. And Cunard was in the news as well because I, as you know, as a matter of fact, that's where I'm at today, is at the place that I work at that has theater as part of its itinerary. And Cunard announced a collaboration with acclaimed theater producer David Pugh. So they're going to be bringing award-winning shows to their new ship, the Queen Anne. So the West End and Broadway producer will work with the cruise line's creative team to launch a variety of stage shows on board, beginning with an adapted production of Noel Coward's Brief Encounter, directed by Emma Price. The production will take place on Queen Anne's maiden voyage in the Royal Court Theatre, according to their press release. So Katie McAllister, the president of Cunard, said, "This hugely exciting collaboration is a real celebration for theater lovers, and the stage is almost set for guests to enjoy some of the most remarkable live performances on board our newest ship, Queen Anne. Whether it's the bright lights of Broadway or the buzz of the West End, the incredible David Pugh, together with Emma Rice, will deliver the very best this theater has to offer." And even David Pugh himself said, "I am delighted that Cunard's new ship, Queen Anne, will play host to Brief Encounter, which is one of my favorite West End productions that I have ever produced. It is an immense privilege to be involved with this project, and I'm so excited to bring the joy of live performance to the high seas." So this Queen Anne will set sail on its 7-night maiden voyage to La Carina and Lisbon on May 3rd, followed by a 14-night voyage in the Canary Islands before traveling around the British Isle, visiting Scotland and Ireland. So sounds like you can get some theater, and I know that even here in Durham we have Broadway productions that are part of our DPAC and everything. So it's good to see Broadway productions sometimes. So that'll be fun and all along those lines.
They do them on cruise ships too, which is great. People don't realize that. And that's one thing I think that really brings more value to cruising, because once again, if you go to Vegas and you want to go see a show, you pay for it. Okay. And cruise lines, they have their own productions, and they really bring a new level to entertainment. Plus, the good thing is it is included. They don't charge you for tickets to see shows on cruise ships. They're included, which is great. And they've gone through so many diverse ways of entertaining with different partnerships too over the years. But once again, it's just great because once again, you can see actual Broadway productions on board cruise ships too. That's one thing that's kind of a core of cruise lines, and they up them all the time too. So definitely keep that in mind too, because once again, I'm not bad mouthing Vegas. Some people like Vegas. Okay. I was out there for a conference. It's okay. But in my case, think about what you can actually get in when you're taking a cruise, because once again, you've got dining included. Yes, you want to opt for specialty dining restaurants. You can do that too, of course, if you want to, but you've got dining included. Specialty restaurants are there if you want to pay a little bit more. You can buy packages for that too, but also with the productions on board the ships, the entertainments, those are included, which is great. And you've got different diverse areas. Once again, different pool areas, which is great, and different entertainment too, as far as the health and wellness. They've got workout centers, which is great, but just wonderful things to do too, which is great. Plus, of course, with cruise lines, what's great is the cruise ship actually serves as where you live, which is great. And once again, you get off the ship, you can take short excursions, you pay extra for those. But once again, it just is another way to kind of see different beautiful places too, and see them where the ship. And also, it's nice too is you don't have to hop around to hotel. So definitely keep that in mind too, because one thing that came up too is we have a lot of cruise lines that do have their own private islands just for their guests. And it's beautiful. It really is. It's just something that cruise lines are really invested in too. And, you mentioned Coco Cay, which is great. I've been there, which is great. Also, with MSC Cruises, they've got their MSC private island. They actually leased the island for 100 years, and they had to renovate that island. It was a trash that to weigh 1,500 tons of scrap metal. And what they do is they actually invested $400 million in that island to get it back in good shape too. It's beautiful. It's their Ocean Cay MSC Marine Reserve, which is gorgeous. And another one just got mentioned is Disney Cruise Line. They've got their own private island. I've been there before, but they just are working on a new one. It's called Lighthouse Point. And this is their new private island. It's located in Eleuthera, which is in the Bahamas. It's going to open in summer of 2024. It's a relaxing beach escape, designed with families in mind, of course. But once again, it really ties in the Bahamian artistry too. Plus, what is beautiful too is they are really, really committed to conservation at the core. And 90%, I ran across this today, 90% of the port's electricity will be provided by the on-site solar systems, which is great. And with their Lighthouse Point, what's great too, it's got guests can enjoy beautiful family beaches, of course. When I was at their other island, they've got an adults only area too, but you can experience all kinds of recreational activities. Bikes and watercraft rentals are available, hiking. They've got this family water play area. Also, new adventures. Of course, you have lunch included. You've got transportation. You've got rain sound dining. They've got this covered gaming pavilion, volleyball court, etc., which is great. That's coming out. They'll be actually debuting that in this summer of 2024, which is great. And it's called Lighthouse Point. So definitely keep that in mind too, because once again, Disney does a great job. And what they do too is they do have areas just for adults too. Of course, their family programs for kids are fantastic. When I sailed on Disney Cruise Lines with their very first ship back in the late 1990s, I talked to some parents and went with a friend, a couple of friends, but the thing was really great too is they mentioned that their kids love going to the private areas just for the kids, and they just enjoyed it so much too. They don't want to leave, which is great. But when they had pool areas for the families, an adult-only area, which is great for entertainment. And with dining, what we did was we actually switched dining areas night by night, different things too, which is great. So definitely keep that in mind too, because once again, the private island concept is fantastic. It's been growing like crazy. And like I said, with Disney Cruise Line, their Lighthouse Point will be debuting in summer of 2024. Something else that I want to mention too is we've got some cruise lines that actually sail on the waterways of the U.S. One is American Queen Voyages, but another one's been on for a long time. Is called American Cruise Lines. And they're family owned. Plus, what's great too is the family actually owns Chesapeake Shipbuilding. They build their own ships, and they're not big ships. What's good too is American Cruise Lines, they call them their coastal cats. And their second coastal cat ship is going to launch, I think, this year. Actually, she's got their inaugural sailing coming up November 28th. It's called the American Glory. And she's going to be sailing from Maryland to Florida. And she's going to be operating their brand new Florida Gulf Coast and Keys cruises from late December through into the new year. And in addition to this popular new Florida itinerary, the American Glory is going to sail on a different U.S. Itineraries across the East Coast throughout 2024. And it's going to blend in the luxury of river cruising plus access to different expedition cruising with only visiting U.S. ports of call too. So that's great too. And what they're doing too is just a few months ago, the series flagship called the American Eagle, as well as their riverboat American Serenade, are going to be sailing, expanding a different 100% of different itineraries across the coast. And with the American Glory, she just accommodates 100 guests, which is great. And she's got 4 decks, also showcases a new catamaran bow. And this new small ship has an elegant interior design and private balcony accommodations, including single and double occupancy staterooms. Yes, single staterooms. And also the American Glory has a top deck for providing beautiful views, as well as lounges inside. And they've got a main restaurant, casual cafe, a fitness center too. And they've also got additional ships coming out under construction. And with the next 2 scheduled for delivery sometime in 2024, I'm not sure when, but once again, the company's new Coastal Cats, I love that term, are going to be available now. If you take a look at AmericanCruiseLines.com, take a look at that. But the American Glory, which is owned by American Cruise Line, is actually going to start sailing November 28th next week, which is great too. And she's their second Coastal Cat ship too. So very small. Once again, I really think it provides another dimension to think about too. If you're thinking about taking a cruise, want to maybe sail within the U.S. And what's fun too with American Glory, she's going to be sailing, it's their brand new, as mentioned, Florida Gulf Coast and Keys cruises from late December through next year, which is great. So definitely keep that in mind because it's a great company, family owned. They build their own ships, which is great too. And they've run for a long time, but very, very successful and a great people too. Something else that came up too is Port Everglades. I mentioned before that we've got different options as far as where you want to sail out of. And of course, Port Miami was a key one that cruise lines used to sail out of for years and years and years. That's where cruising really started. But then Port Everglades came up. Also Port Canaveral. Port Canaveral was really taken off, is one of the fastest growing ports for cruise lines to depart from. But what's really fun too is with Port Everglades, they are welcoming new cruise lines. And this just came up, of course, this past week, is that Disney Cruise Line is actually home porting in Port Canaveral, which is great. And what's great too is once again, Port Everglades has welcomed first calls from Viking Cruises. Also, like I said, Disney Cruise Line is going to bring its magic, and it's actually started November 20th, okay, which is going to be coming up on Monday, I believe, the Disney Dream.
Yeah, that's Monday. That's definitely Monday. Speaking of which, I have a couple of videos for you if you're interested, including one about a trip to Australia. It's a long one, but it is the Virgin Voyages Resilient Lady. So I have a video about that. Would you like to check it out?
Yes, definitely. That's great.
Cool. Let's check this out.
Okay.
Welcome aboard Virgin Voyages' newest ship, the Resilient Lady. In this video, we'll go from top deck down to show you what it's like on board. Starting off quick before people run us over, because we are on the marathon track on deck 17, and it's also the photo op hotspot whenever you're not in the way of people who actually run. Deck 16, we have giant chess, a basketball, pickleball court, several hot tubs, lots of loungers, and at least 1 or 2 bars per Virgin Voyages mandate, basically. And then on to deck 15, where we've got all the pools. Deck 15 has 2 pools, several hot tubs, lots of loungers, and at least 2 bars as well. So that's where you go to hang out, cool down, and then see if you can get a sunbed. And if the gym is more your speed than the pool, we have this on deck 15 as well, followed by the galley, where all the quick food is. Speaking of quick food, here's the quickest. Very on brand of them. But the quick grab and go things are called quickies. So They've got things like charcuterie sandwiches, salads, all that kind of good stuff that you can just take with you anywhere on the boat. So Virgin does not have your typical buffet. Like, you can go in and get anything you want. You can come in and see everything you want and then order from here with a wait staff who comes to your table, and then they deliver it to you. So it's more casual than sit-down dining, but it is still table service. So we honestly can't decide if we like buffet vibe or the galley vibe better. It has pros and cons because buffet gets crowded and hectic and kind of gross really fast. The quality of food here is better, but sometimes, especially as introverts, you just want to like tuck in and get a sandwich and not talk to anyone and find a little corner. But the food here is definitely better than a buffet. Also in the galley is a smaller version of the coffee shop, so you can get your iced coffees or your lattes, your fancier coffees, as well as the free coffees. Right past the galley, you'll find Gunbae, the first Korean barbecue at sea. This is the only restaurant where you must be seated with other cruisers, but the staff make it easy to make friends quickly with themed games and group dining. Deck 14 through 8 are all just cabins, so there's nothing like to do, but come see our room. So come on in, excuse the mess, we have definitely made ourselves at home this week. We have really enjoyed the cabin, the bed is comfy, but the balcony is our favorite part. Come see. My favorite spot that I spend all of my time in is the hammock. It's more comfy than this, I promise, but I don't know how to get in it elegantly, so this is what you get. This ship will definitely turn you into an iPad kid. This is how you control just about everything in your room. You make the lights go darker. I can turn off the desk lamp. You can make the room hotter or colder. We want it as cold as possible all the time. You can make things spicy or photo shoot ready. Or my favorite is the Zen. And it closes the blinds and makes everything blue. So on Deck 7, they have a very interestingly named ice cream shop that does deliver free great cones. And behind us is the pizza place, well-named Pizza Shop. It's honestly okay, but it'll have a spot. Also on Deck 7, we have, again, several different bar options. This one is the most beautiful, very elegant, the Sip Lounge. Very like a jazz club vibe. If you're more into a classic bar, beer pub situation, they have a draft house called the Draughthaus. I could be saying that wrong, but it's very pubby. Still Deck 7, they've got the Grounds Club, which is the specialty coffee shop where you can get all your lattes and iced coffee drinks, which is much needed in Europe. They also have little pastries that are free, but the coffees are a little bit of a charge, but worth it. And right outside the coffee shop, they have these little darlings. They don't move, but they're very cute. And also right outside of the coffee shop, you have the game room full of tons of games and plenty of space to play. We've been playing Bananagrams here a lot. On Deck 6, there are several beautiful shops, and it's called the High Street because British-based company. It's some good shopping. Also on Deck 6, there's another beautiful bar, and there's a lot of stuff going on here, especially Scarlet Night. And this is where you start to get off the galley. You check in your band, and then they'll take you from there. Also, Deck 6, you have the casino, which you can use from your band. You don't need cash. You just have to activate it first. I'm personally partial to the penny slots if I'm going to do anything, but I think I'd rather save my money this go around. We're not spending much time here, but I do love it. Is absolutely remarkable that this is a no smoking casino. There's only very specific spots on the ship where you can smoke, and the casino is not one of them. One of the most beautiful restaurants on the ship is The Wake, and it's like American Steakhouse style with the best brunch. This is our favorite brunch on the ship. Make sure to make a reservation because it does look up pretty quick, but it's absolutely beautiful. Test Kitchen was our favorite experience on board, and as long as you're not a picky eater, we think you'll love it too. The entire dining room was meticulously curated to give you the ultimate experience of taste testing the newest and most innovative drinks and dishes. Extra Virgin is the ship's upscale yet relaxed Italian restaurant on board, which does not miss a beat. We love the design and the classic yet elevated menu options. Make your reservations early for this one, it's popular for good reason. After dinner, meander down the deck to the Red Room, but the shows are well produced, but certainly lean into the ship's adults-only vibe. On Deck 5, what Razzle Dazzle lacks in meat options, it certainly makes up for in flavor and pizzazz. The ship's only primarily vegan restaurant does have a few carnivorous options to choose from, but for us, it made for a perfect healthy brunch spot.
Pink Agave is the ship's Mexican restaurant, which can be found right past Sailor Services. While we love Mediterranean food while sailing through Europe, Pink Agave makes for the perfect alternative for spicy and delicious dishes to mix things up. And down on deck 4 is tender boarding, where you'll get on and off the ship. On days where you have to take a tender to the port, you'll first meet up with your allocated boarding time on deck 6, then all go down to deck 4 together. If no tender is needed and you can go straight to the land, you can go out at almost any time. We thoroughly enjoyed our week sailing with Virgin Voyages. This ship really had it all. We loved not having to think about tips and counting up totals because of Virgin's inclusive pricing structure. If you consider yourself a very bashful or conservative person who's looking for a wholesome family vacation, this cruise might not be on brand for you. But if you look forward to a week of relaxing, celebrating, maybe getting a little rowdy, and enjoying luxury at sea, we'd highly recommend sailing with Virgin. Head to andrewandkate.com for our cruise packing guide and a full review of our experience. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Was a full tour of Virgin. That sounded amazing
great.
and everything. So definitely, if you're interested, I got 2 more. I got one about Antarctica, which is a lot shorter, but it's an Antarctica trip. And I've also got Costa Forchana, which is a cruise line that I was not familiar with and everything
Okay.
with it.
I haven't heard of
Definitely.
it. That's great. Yes, definitely. That's good.
Let's check out Costa Forchana. That's the smaller one, and then we'll go with Antarctica right
Right.
afterward. Let's see what Costa
Yes.
Forchana is all about.
Okay.
Waiting for sunshine. Ooh, waiting for sunshine. Waiting for sunshine. Ooh, waiting for sunshine. Waiting for sunshine. Ooh.
That was Costa Cruises. Yes.
No, and apparently it's a what I saw when I found it in one of the cruise magazines is it is apparently a company that is built at the Fincantieri shipyard in
Fincantieri, yes.
Italy. So apparently this is their 20th anniversary and everything. So they're celebrating their 20th anniversary, and the 110,000-ton vessel was delivered to Costa Cruises on October 31st, 2003. So it's been around for about 20 years, and it's now 20 years and a month old.
Yeah, because Costa is an Italian cruise line. They've been around for a long time. They're owned by the Carnival Corporation too, and I sailed them a long time ago too, which is great. Once again, with the Cunard Corporation, they own different cruise lines, of course, too. Besides Cunard Cruise Line, the corporation owns Princess Cruises, Holland America Line, Cunard Line, of course, two other ones. But each cruise line is a little bit different as far as what they offer. So it's good to think about that too.
Yep. And like I said, if folks are interested
Yes.
in going to the Antarctica, that was the third
Yes.
video that I found. So let's check this one out.
When I was young, for me, speaking of Antarctica was like speaking of Mars or the Moon or some Jupiter, whatever other planet. And being here right now, it's a passion.
In my wildest dreams, I didn't really imagine myself ever being here. Because it's just it almost feels like another planet.
This has literally been a life-changing trip, really an opportunity of a lifetime.
It's just mind-blowing, like something that you'll never get to experience again. I just feel so fortunate to be here.
It gives you goosebumps. It's the experience of a lifetime.
You just had like a rush of adrenaline and energy in your body.
Am I really here? It's really powerful.
Paddling through the ice floes, getting up near the icebergs was a one-in-a-lifetime experience.
All the different colors of the icebergs.
You see all these turquoise, beautiful colors.
Yeah, they have like different shades of blue.
We were within 2 meters of this massive humpback whale. Eventually it woke up and then just deep dived right next to us, so we had an amazing shot of its tail and fantastic.
One of the coolest things I think you can do when you come to Antarctica on an expedition cruise is camp here on the continent. It's a penguin right here. Right here.
Honestly, I had zero interest in doing the polar plunge. It was actually really fun, and it was over so fast, and really a highlight. Now I kind of want to do it again. They should offer it at 8 a.m. every morning.
The guests appreciate the comfort of the ship, the fact that the ship is pretty much brand new.
Towers are the biggest I've ever seen on a cruise ship.
We had a beautiful window that looked out over everything, and we could lower it and look out. We had a big sitting area.
I thought that was top-notch.
You will not go hungry.
Everything is so amazing.
And we want to try every single thing.
And the staff in the dining room have become people we look forward to seeing 3 times a day.
And they don't repeat the menu either. Every day is just something different. It's
A little bit Brazilian yesterday, right?
They do, yeah.
The guests go off the ship very happy and feeling, and actually a lot of them emotional, you know. Over the last couple of days you feel that.
There you go. You don't need to change anything. It's perfect. We've got a great trip. Look, I'm crying.
Antarctica has that vastness that makes you feel small, but also part of the bigger world around you.
There he is.
This for me is the peak. It doesn't get any better than this, I don't think. I'm not sure how we top this next year.
I'm Julie. And I'm Christina. And we are Atlas World Travelers.
I'm Rebecca.
And I'm Tim. And we're Atlas World Travelers.
We are Atlas World Travelers. Go on.
And we are Atlas World Travelers.
I'm Rick.
I'm Alice, and we are Atlas World Travelers.
We are Atlas World Travelers. Come on!
Atlas does a fantastic job. Actually, Atlas Ocean Voyages started their first sailing in 2021 in the summertime.
Right.
And they're more high luxury, smaller ships. And they just launched, I think, their third ship recently too, which is great. I know some people work there, and they do a phenomenal job. They really do.
Yeah. It seems like they do a great job and everything.
do.
That was just some of the videos that I found this time. I love finding these videos and everything.
Right.
But whenever you decide to close out, but you got as long as you want and everything, we'll
Okay.
close out with your favorite people, which is those lovely captains that you're going to meet
Yes.
very shortly and everything. But
Yes, I will. I'm getting excited. It's about 2 weeks away. That's great too. But two things I want to share too, as far as with MSC, which is great, MSC Cruises. They just ordered 2 more world-class ships, and these are going to be actually it's going to be their MSC World Explorer and then the MSC World America. And these new world-class ships for MSC Cruises will be launching in 2006 and 2007. And also, they're going to be operated by liquefied natural gas, LNG. And they just announced these. And then, of course, something else more about these. They're going to really be energy efficient. And I think it's really good because, once again, cruise lines are really working hard to make sure that they're energy efficient. And I know that with the Cruise Line Industry Association, CLIA, they have got a deadline in 2050 to make sure that all the ships are operated with liquefied natural gas or other options too. But once again, it's just great because, once again, what's great too is with these 2 new world-class vessels that are going to be launched by MSC Cruises, they're also going to be featuring a shore power plug-in, which is great because that's going to also reduce carbon emissions. We've seen a lot of cruise lines do that too. So definitely keep that in mind too, because besides liquefied natural gas, which is another way that cuts down the carbon emissions, a lot of cruise lines have been adding more to do this shore power plug-in connectivity to reduce the carbon emissions, which is great. And I just think it's wonderful that they're doing these wonderful things too. So definitely keep that in mind too, because there's so many positives going on in the industry, and it's more important now than ever to make sure that with our world, we're going to be making sure that we are being more sustainable, which is great too. So definitely keep that in mind too. And definitely keep that in mind too, because once again, we've got new ships coming out. Port Everglades is welcoming new ships, as mentioned with the Disney Cruise Line. And they're offering, of course, I know Celebrity Ascent is going to be sailing out of Port Everglades in a few weeks. Hers being christened on December 1st. I'm going to be doing a 2-night pre-christening experience myself too. But once again, cruise lines are having a lot of their ships sail out of Port Everglades. I know that with Royal Caribbean's Symphony of the Sea, she's going to shift to sailing out of Port Everglades after returning from Europe in November, and be offering different kinds of cruises. Also, another luxury cruise line called Azamara actually going to be joining Port Everglades first time with her Azamara Onward in November of this year. And she's going to finish her season at Port Everglades with a inaugural 155 world voyage that's departing on January 5th, visiting over 40 different countries. And of course, Sun Princess, which is Princess Cruises' new ship, is going to be actually departing from Port Everglades too, and later this next year too, which is great. And another one coming out too is the newly refurbished Crystal Serenity is going to be sailing out of Port Everglades in November of 2024. So definitely keep that in mind too, because once again, there are different places you actually take a cruise from. Of course, Port Miami, Port Everglades. We've got Port Canaveral, which is great, growing like crazy. We've got Galveston, Texas. Also, Tampa's another area. Plus, we're seeing ships that sail out of New York. Yes. And of course, on the West Coast, we've got other areas, including Seattle for Alaska, besides Vancouver, also California. So definitely keep that in mind too. And also, I think one of the beautiful ports to sail out from too is one of my favorites is San Juan, Puerto Rico, because you can see different islands in a short time. Usually, when you sail out of San Juan, Puerto Rico, you can visit probably at least 5 different islands in a week-long cruise, which is great. And of course, Europe takes off like crazy. And we're seeing a lot of growth as far as the river cruise lines that sail out of Europe Also, Antarctica, as mentioned, Atlas Ocean Voyages does offer Antarctic cruises, which is great. But we're seeing a lot of growth in different options too. So definitely keep that in mind too, because there's so many options out there and there's always a good fit for somebody. So definitely keep that in mind when you think about maybe taking a cruise. And once again, keep that in mind. And of course, make sure you book farther out. I know one thing that came with Princess Cruises is they're trying to make sure that they really reward their people that book farther out because they're trying to avoid these last minute discounts. So definitely keep that in mind too. A lot of times you would see maybe cruise lines try and fill up a ship last minute with a last minute discount, but I know Princess Cruises is taking a step forward, not really doing those last minute discounts now. So definitely keep it in mind. It's better to book farther out, get your plans in place, which is great. And then it kind of builds up the excitement too, which is great too. So definitely keep that in mind and think about that when you're thinking about your next cruise vacation. Okay. And it's wonderful sharing more about the cruise industry. And I tell people, good ship happens. Yes. Wonderful people, wonderful experiences, and just a great way to really experience the world in a very, very safe marina too. So definitely keep that in mind too. Thank you.
I am thrilled to be here today to announce the captain of Celebrity Ascent, the Amazing Edge series. They bring their own spirit and energy to the ship and our crew. And so I would like to eliminate all the suspense and announce that the captain of Celebrity Ascent is Captain Kafajis. Oh, did I forget to say there are two of them? For the first time ever, Celebrity Cruises has two captains. So gentlemen, I happen to know you both really, really well. We've worked together for 15 or 16 years. And a lot of our guests have sailed with you, and some of them know a little bit about you. But they nor I know a lot about you. So let's roll video and learn about your amazing lives.
My name is Dimitrios Kafajis. I am from Port of Athens, Piraeus, in Greece. I graduated the Captain's Academy of Syros, and I am a captain with Celebrity Cruises for the last 19 years. 33 years altogether at sea with Celebrity Cruises. My personal milestone and best moment was when I became a captain at the age of 36, being by then the youngest and by far the funniest captain on the fleet, only to live enough to have my brother breaking this record at the age of 34. Bless you, Tassos. I will never forget you for this. My relationship with my brother can be described as father-son relationship and not brothers, since we have 11 years difference with Tassos. I know my pretty face fool you, but there are 11 years difference. When I first heard that I was going to be the captain of the Ascent, and together with my brother, two brothers, to start a ship for the company we love.
My name is Tassos Kafajis, and I'm a captain on board Celebrity Cruises. The reason I came to the maritime industry is because of my brother. He's my role model. I was so influenced by him, so I applied for Celebrity Cruises that my brother was working already. And I joined Celebrity Century back in 1998, once it was brand new. And I moved on, and 25 years later, here I am as a captain. Since we became a captain, we didn't have the opportunity to work together, and we're always saying how fun it would be if we could do a contract together, even as captains. Now, to do that together with an opening of the newest vessel of Celebrity Cruises, it's like a dream come true.
When he first became a captain, I gave him a Mont Blanc pen and a Warren bead with a cross and an evil eye, and I said to him, have it in your pocket, and when you think that you are helpless, just put your hand in your pocket, rub it, and you're gonna be there.
You mean this one? That's you?
Yep.
Him.
I will say that I might be the prototype, but he is the newer, better version. Captain 2.0, if I may say.
he changed the way captains interact with their guests and the crew. He opened up a big window for all the captains to follow.
Not only congratulations, but thank you. It's such a pleasure and an honor to work with both of you every day, and I can't wait to be on the stage with you on Celebrity Ascent.
Yes.
I bet, knowing the two of you, you are going to have a lot of fun with the guests.
When we both would be dressed up as captains on the ship, I will go talk to them first, and then I claim that I had to go, leave, and Tassos come back and carry on what I started and see if they're going to pick it up. And I guarantee
Are they going to get a prize or something if they do pick it up?
They're going to get a dinner with the captain.
Oh, how fun. There you
with
go.
this captain.
With that captain.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard. This is your captain, Captain Cafetzis of the Celebrity Ascent. No. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard. This is your captain, Captain Cafetzis of the Celebrity Ascent. No, this is your captain, Captain Cafetzis of the Celebrity Ascent. No. This is the captain, Captain Cafetzis of the Celebrity Ascent. Τι κάνεις εδώ πέρα, ήρθες στο καράβι να μου κάνεις το καφετέλι. Αυτό που λες τώρα.